Earliest sporting memory is going to watch my dad at Goodison Park. I always have like a faint sort of vision of me looking out of the box onto the pitch. You know, as a kid, you're watching like your dad do his job and you sort of want to aspire to be that, you know, especially as a boy, like watching your dad play football that was just for me, that was all I wanted to do and be like him and do the same job as him. And, you know, from when I could walk and kick a football, I was doing that. So I think that's sort of what made me do what I want to do. I'd say my knee injury. I think it made me a lot tougher mentally, physically. Back then I was 19, 20. Didn't really know too much about my body. Was just sort of playing football and, you know, loving it as you do as a young boy. But when I had that sort of made me like slow down and sort of look more into like taking care of myself and my body and like, my mental health as well. You know, there's a long 10 months and a lot of setbacks and a lot of things that happened that, you know, I'll always remember and sort of never forget, but they made me a stronger person. And to step back out on the pitch after all that time was just an amazing feeling. I'm quite emotional as well, but no, just getting back to doing what I love, and it was great. I think it's strong, you know, everyone's got to know where you come from and the background, and there's been a lot of things that have happened, especially like for black people in history, you know, you see it, you watch stuff on documentaries about how they cope with it. And I think it's powerful, you know, because that's how everyone should aspire to be, and that's the sort of adversity and like negative things they've had to go through. So like that stuff's inspiring. For me, it was just he was dad at the end of the day. I didn't really look at him as. I think it's only like more recently I looked at him as like, oh, like how big he was and what he did in the game. But like to me, he was just dad. I used to like, he'd come home from training, I'd come home from school, and it'd be like he'd been there all day. So only on a Saturday when I go and watch him play, it was like, oh, like he's a big like sort of person in the games. And yeah, but you don't really appreciate that as a younger person, you know. As you get older, you sort of appreciate stuff more, and that was something that I've realised as I've gotten older. I think it shows, like as a child looking at that, or an older person looking at that, it like gives you hope and it provides you with a bit of motivation, you know. Someone with a sort of similar background or something like that can get to them stages and do something that you aspire to do. It's inspirational and it motivates you to want to do that, and can make you believe that you want to do that as well, and you can do that. Again, I'd probably say my injury, because I'd never really had any major injuries like that. You know, it was a big shock to me and something that I didn't really know what to expect, and sort of like it was quite like Groundhog Day for me. A lot of the times, you know, rehab, doing the same thing every day, and like just had to try and set myself little goals and each week and get here and this amount of flexion and this amount of muscle mass back. So, you know, in that you've got to like sort of give yourself like your own goals and motivations to keep you like motivated and hungry to want to get back. But obviously going and watching the lads from inside the gym is more than enough motivation for me. I would probably listen to my body more. I think then just my goal was to just get fit and get back playing as soon as I could. But there was times where I might have not like felt right or felt 100%, but I just pushed through because I thought if I miss this, then it's going to set me back even more. But looking back now, I'd definitely say look after my body and listen to my body, and probably speak about stuff as well, because like when I think back to it, a lot of it was just a blur and it all sort of blended into one. And so I think speaking about that kind of stuff especially when you're injured. It's tough. Biggest accomplishment, I'd probably say getting to the playoffs last season. I felt like I settled here straight away and was really comfortable from day one with the team and the staff and the fans. And for me, last season was my best season by a good amount of a good distance. Just the way I felt, it felt natural. I felt like I was playing some of my best football, and to play at Wembley, something I've always dreamed of, was amazing for me. And then to score as well, just unfortunate that we didn't get the result. Enjoy everything you do, and sometimes people are going to be jealous of the way you look. You might be quicker than them, stronger than them, but let them be jealous. You're you for a reason. Make sure you're playing with a smile on your face and you're enjoying every opportunity you get. Because life is short and you've got to enjoy the most of your memories. And yeah, just if it's something that you love, make sure you do it and commit to it and have fun.